welcome. My name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to DSP week, which basically is what do we do with our scraps of paper? Or scraps of DSP. So we get lots of pieces of DSP left over from projects. So this, if you saw my videos last week, I did a scrapbook workshop week for the month, and I got lots of these pieces of beautiful paper left over, but I wasn't sure what to do with it. So what do we do with our scraps? 9 times out of 10 we throw them away, but let's say we don't want to. What could we do with them? So this is one design that we could do. It's like a crisscross basket weave design here. I've also used some embellishments that came with the kit that was left over, and I've added a few gems. So let's start. So all I've got is a piece of white cardstock to start with, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of designer series paper. They each measure in width 3/4 of an inch. These are obviously far too long, so I'm going to cut them down. I'm going to decide on which 3 are going to be uprights, portrait, and which 3 are going to be landscape. So let's have a look. So that one really needs to be portrait because of the way the flowers go. Let's have a purple upright, and let's have the blue, and then the other 3 can be my landscapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these 3 down first of all. I'm going to bring in my trimmer, pull that over, and I'm going to cut those down to, let's say, so the piece of card is 5¼ in length. So let's do the first one, say at 4½. Okay. And then we're going to take the next one, and I'm going to do that at 4¼ Okay. And then the last one I'm going to do at 4 inches. Okay, so they are all, whoops, 3/4 of an inch depth, and I'm just literally cutting them down to what size suits me. So we've got 4½, 4¼ and 4 inches. So then we're going to do exactly the same for our width, or our landscape. So our landscape is 3½. So let's go for 3 inches. Okay. Then we're going to go for, did I say 3 inches? I did. So let's do 2 3/4. And I'm going to go 2½. It may be too small. So if I've got a bit left over, that actually I'm going to make it 2 5/8 just to make it slightly longer. Okay, so these are my 6 strips. So what I'm going to do is these will get stuck down onto here. So the easiest way I have found is to bring in my glue dots, grab my pointy tool, okay, and then I'm going to put my black Bliss in the middle. So let's take a glue dot. Of course, you can do this with multi-purpose, should you wish to. So I'm going to do one up there, like so. So that's that. Then the next one in size is this one. So I'm going to bring that one down so it's down that far. So click that one, put a little dot there, and then I can put my, there we go, so that's that one. And then the last one I've got is this one. So I'm going to put that one slap bang in the middle like so. Yeah, go there. Oops, that didn't work, did it? Oh. Need to make that straight away. Okay, so let's do that so it's straight. There we go. So there we go. I'm going to put that on there. Okay, so that will hold that one into place. Then I'm going to turn it to the landscape position, and I've got my 3 pieces. So I'm going to do one there. So that goes all the way across. So let's get a glue dot. Let's put that on the top of that one. And I'm going to hold it down to there. And let's just go straight across for now. Okay, I'm going to do the same with this one. Bring it down so it pokes out there. So let's put the glue dot on the back of this one. There we go. So let's say that's going to go there. And then the last one is this one. Again, I'm going to put a glue dot at the top. Okay. Put that up a bit higher and it will come down a bit lower. Okay, so you could leave them just like that, but I'm actually going to weave them. So what I want to do is I'm going to bring this one out all the way across. And then I'm going to bring this one out all the way across. So that one is going to stay, ouch, that one is going to stay out that way. Okay, so it'll be held down by this one. This one, I'm going to, there we go. I'm going to go over the top of the purple one, like so, and then under the blue one. Okay, so we've got them there. And then this one, I'm going to put them all down. So the easiest thing to do, so that's my layout for my crisscross. So I've gone under 2, over, under, and then all the way under on those ones. So it's up to you however you do it. So the easiest thing to do now is to take yourself a glue dot, make sure your piece is straight, put your glue dot down, hold it. Yeah, do exactly the same with your second one. Might just need to lift it. Make sure your little thing is straight. And then you can hold that down. And then we're going to do exactly the same with this one. And I'm just going to pop that underneath there. And that's straight. Okay, so they've got the 3 portraits are straight. Now we're going to make sure that our landscapes are as well. The advantage of the glue dot is that you can just give it a little move over to the left or right to make sure your aim is exactly where you want it. Right, okay, so let's put the 2, so that one's going to go under there. And then I'm going to do the same one. I'm not going to worry about that one because those 2 are holding it down. But I will put it under the yellow one. Make sure that's straight. Okay, so there is our weave, basket weave. So the next thing to do is I'm going to bring in my embellishments. Now I've got this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel it out. It's sticky on one side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my hand to take most of the stick off, because then I can position it onto my paper and it won't stick down permanently, and I can see whether or not I like it. So let's have a look. So it could sit there. So you can see it doesn't stick. Then I could add a flower to go on the bottom. Right, still not sure about that, so I'm going to take that off. I'm going to do the same with this one. And then this one here. Again, just going to put them on to make sure that I can see what they look like. So that one goes there, quite like that. And that one goes up there, quite like that. And then I've got, let's see what else I've got. I've got these, they're quite tiny, but I could unstick that one, pop that there. I quite like that rather than the big one. So let's stick with that. Let's put those aside for the second. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, she says when she can find them, there they are, bring in my dimensionals. Right, okay, so we're going to lift that one up. And we're going to stick this one down flat. So I will use some glue. There we go. That will go under there in place. Oops, get rid of that bit. We don't want that bit of glue. Now I could put that one on dimensionals. So let's do that. Let's get some dimensionals. So these ones are quite tiny. So I'm actually going to use my pointer tool to pick them up. 1, 2, 3. Take those off. I'm actually going to put one there and one there just to be on the safe side. 1 and 2. I don't want to lose that one. See it hiding away there. Right. So that will then come over here like that. And then I'm going to take a dimensional, just one of these tiny ones, and I'm going to pop it on there. Managed to take off 2 backings instead of 1. Oh, there we go, that's better. And then that one is going to go there. Right, so the next thing to do is to get our sentiment. I'm going to have, so I've got myself a 3/4 of an inch strip because I know that that is the height of my sentiment. I've got happy birthday, sorry, no I haven't, I've got happy birthday wishes. That comes from the new stamp set frames, phases, phrases and frames. Wow, don't want to say that too often. I'm going to ink that up. And then I'm going to stamp it down. There we are, perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to cut that. Let's bring that in. And I'm going to make that 2 1/4. There we are. Okay, and again, we can put this one on dimensionals. I'm going to put that one there this time. So let's turn that over. 2, 3. I'm not quite sure what backings to choose. So I'm going to put that one there, and push that one down. Right, so the original, we had Blackberry Bliss with Darling Duckling. I'm thinking we could probably do Garden Green. So let me grab my box of my greens. Let's have a look. There we are, there's a Garden Green. Oh yes, I'm liking that. That looks good. And what colour should we do the base? Let's see. What's that? I know we're not going to use this one, but no, I'm not going to use that. Okay, so we need to think of a colour for the base. Should we use... We could use Darling Duckling. We could use Crumb Cake. We could use Blackberry Bliss. Now I know this is Coastal Cabana, but that looks more like Pool Party. So let's just grab a Pool Party. And actually look, I've got a Darling Duckling here. Actually that works, doesn't it? Saves a job. Okay, so let's stick these 2 down. So this is 8 inches by 5 3/4, which will score at the 4-inch mark. And this is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. And as you'll have noticed, I have quite a few of these already pre-cut, which makes my life so much easier. Right, so let's stick this down. This piece of white cardstock was 3.5 by 5.25. That's going to carry on moving. I think I'm going to stick it down with a glue dot. So let's grab one of those glue dots. There we go. And I'm just going to pop it under there. Do you know what? I did the same with this one. So let's move that up. And let's put a glue dot under that one just to be on the safe side. I thought that the 2 overlaps might keep it in place, but it hasn't. So let's be safe rather than sorry. Right, okay. So just fold it in half, or if you wish to score, then you're scoring at the 4-inch mark. Got my bone folder, which I'm then going to just burnish down the spine. This is now going to get layered onto here. There we go. Like so. Hold that down for a while. Now the only thing else I'm going to do is I want to put some bling on it. So I have got my antique pearls and I've got a Blackberry Bliss blend pen. I'm going to colour in the pearls. So I'm going to do a different size this time. So I've got a large one here. So I'm going to colour that in the Blackberry Bliss. Okay, so I'm just going to go all the way around so I make sure I get the edges. Then I'm going to do the medium one. And then I'm going to do a tiny one. But again, all the way around. Right, so I'm going to take up this, pop it in the middle of this flower. There we go. Then I'm going to take my medium one. Hang on, there's a tiny bit there missing, so let's just make sure it's all covered. Give that a second to dry. So I'll take the little one. Should hopefully be dry now. That will go in the middle there. And then I'll take the medium one. Whoops. And that will go in the middle of that one there. And there you go, a quick and easy Monday card. We have got using the scraps of DSP that maybe we would throw away, or we've kept loads of them, but just thinking that one day we will do something with it. And this is a quick and easy way to do and make a beautiful birthday card. So thank you ever so much for joining me today. Don't forget to be back on Wednesday at 10 a.m. where we'll do our second card. Thanks ever so much. Take care. Bye.